Hello and welcome. We are here to have a Gamergate Conversation on the 8th of the 11th, 2014. With me, we also have Monsieur, if that's how you pronounce your very French name.
Just call it Victor.
Victor. Okay. Well, welcome, everybody. Those of you listening now, which is apparently nobody, saying that, this stream just came out, so fair enough. Those of you who are listening afterwards, where the hell were you? You should feel ashamed of yourself not watching this live. So on to our first topic, which would be the owner of Gawker, attempting to infiltrate Gamergate with quote unquote shills to try and shut us down from the inside. And the, in my opinion, massive flop that was. Any thoughts?
Well, you already had there's already been stuff about that idea on what's the anti-Gamergate Reddit called, Gamergazi, where they talked about how that's the ultimate idea with which you can shut down Gamergate in a week, and that week has passed now, and then you also need to take into account it's not exactly far-fetched that next Denton would start hiring Western publicists, because if you remember the publicist fag post, then you can surely remember that this kind of concept is nothing new. Usually, only AAA devs do that. They have offices with sometimes adults, sometimes children in countries where wages are particularly low, and those are then hired to hype up stuff on Twitter to make it seem like the masses are already all hyped for the next game.
Well, it's was it publicity aggregation? Not aggregation. It has a specific name, and I can't seem to remember it right now. But yes, sorry.
I thought it was called publicism.
Publicism is a wider term as far as I'm aware, but that would definitely cover it. Although saying that, it would cover it in a very backhanded sort of a way.
And in earlier Gamergate times, there have already been people en masse posting in all these game over gates. By now, it's GOPS. Or wait, what are they called? POX against Gamergate, and and then everyone started laughing at them because they all happen to be from countries like Ukraine or Indonesia or Myanmar and all the likes of that. So they were obviously just publicists, pretty literally hired to do that. And
they didn't manage to cover their tracks very well.
And probably what Gawker then realized is conventional publicists aren't going to do it because everyone can see where they're from. So instead they just decided to hire a small amount of publicists in the West. Whoever's willing to spend that time trying to sabotage Gamergate, which can't be infinitely expensive, because there's people who do that for free, trolls and shills who already make money over something else and whose business basically depends on Gamergate not existing. So it can't be that extremely expensive.
Well, also the fact that we are attacking directly their income. You'd think if someone's going after my money, I'm going to be careful with whatever money I have, because I don't know if it's going to be there tomorrow.
Probably he considers everything, all the money he spends, a momentary investment in order to maintain the business in the long term. Meaning that on one side, it's all a positive because if Gawker really hired Western publicists, then that's extra money that's going away, additionally to the advertisers pulling out and the clicks going away. On the other hand, that means that they're becoming increasingly desperate and probably willing to take credits and try and delay bankruptcy as far as possible.
Well, also you have the whole discussion of the same publicize. I can't think with words right now, but the same people were also used by ISIS, I believe, weren't they? That came out.
I wouldn't even wonder if that was the case. 'Cause they're companies. They're nothing. It's not. They're not. They don't have any big allegiance.
Well, that was the joke. Was they obviously didn't, due to the fact that the same people who wanted Gamergate gone also supported ISIS. That was the odd sort of joke that we
Because
had with our
I remember
focus.
I once went to the Pox Against Gamergate hashtag and found one tweet propagating an obvious lie because it's been disproven dozens of times by now. I just made a snarky comment to it as a tweet, and then I was driving home, and then I noticed on the Twitter there's been 10 responses, all from one person, all very angry because of that, and it makes me wonder if there are still actual angry people with a serious face support anti-Gamergate.
Well, we have people like Brianna Wu, who, at least on the face of it, is against Gamergate, although that is questionable as to exactly why she decided to go up against Gamergate. I mean, that's something personally I don't understand it.
Because she's I think we can before all these news stories came up. Did you know her?
I did not know of her. I'm going to be honest with you. No, I know she's a game developer, and she
I
used
do.
to be a journalist.
I
That's
did. In earlier Gamergate times, I did spend a lot of time in Twitter and looking through the thing and Twitter tweeting stuff and so on and so on. And I recall her name from there. She did hang around in the Gamergate hashtag shilling around, and that's where I remember her from.
Just to expand, you said you saw her shilling around. Can you expand on that?
You know, the usual thing, perpetuating lies, conveniently forgetting them when talking to someone else,
Ah, yes.
towing the party line generally. And that's all I remember her from. And the next thing I know is she has several news agencies publicizing interviews, publishing interviews on how she is persecuted throughout the gaming community, and how everything is focused on her. Long story short, I think she's just a lunatic with a persecution complex.
It
Probably
almost
also with a desire for attention, and frustration over lack of such attention increases her persecution complex.
it almost seems as if she looked at the likes of Zoe Quinn and Anita Sarkeesian and saw how much hatred they were receiving from, Anita Sarkeesian from people who actually analysed her facts and found them to be false, and Zoe Quinn from people who believe in ethics and journalism and figured, hey, I want a piece of that pie, pretty much. Hello, Grayson. Welcome to the conversation.
Hello?
Hello. Hearing you.
Hi, I made it.
Yay. We're right now we're
Yeah,
talking
sorry.
about Brianna Wu and her involvement with Gamergate.
Oh, well, it's not really... shouldn't be there, should it?
Well, that's what I was asking. Really, was I was sort of questioning why she decided to come along for the whole Gamergate. I mean, we weren't going after her originally, and it almost seems like she saw Zoe Quinn and Anita Sarkeesian and figured, I want a little bit of that publicity. How did they get it? With hatred. Okay, I'll join in.
Oh, yes, certainly. I mean, she's definitely gotten lots of publicity for her, I don't know, whatever the hell she does.
Well, she's just released a game recently enough, I believe. I say she's released a game. She's developed a game that has recently been released.
Oh, you know what? I do think I saw that, and I think it looked really fucking dumb.
I didn't even look into it that much. I just noticed it when I was scrolling through stuff. and I guess that sort of explains why. But if it truly is to promote a game, she's doing a very bad job of it. I mean, I've not seen her talk about the game in any of her interviews or anything like that.
Until the big interviews, I didn't even know she is a game developer.
Well,
I
she's
had
doing
no
a
idea what. Yeah.
doing a terrible job of promoting herself. Anyway, Grayson, you were about to say something?
Yeah, I had no idea even who she was until this came around. So, I mean, really, this has kind of made her famous. I mean, I don't think anyone really knew much about her.
Well, it seems to be a lot of these people are treating the Gamergate controversy as a fast track to the public celebrity, even if it is like e-celebrity lifestyle. I mean, if you look at Anita Sarkeesian using school shootings to promote feminist frequency, I mean, these people are obviously just looking for attention, just looking for publicity, and they're worried that eventually it's going to die down, so they have to go to more and more extreme methods of bringing people to listen to them.
Oh yeah, no doubt. Colbert was probably the apex of this.
Oh, don't talk to me about Colbert.
Oh.
That
I'm still suspicious as to why his show gets cancelled right after the Anita Sarkeesian episode.
did it actually get cancelled?
I think it's supposed to end soon.
It was slated to end long before Gamergate even began.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
So it seems like they just wanted to go down with a bang, I guess. Because if you look at the statistics for the YouTube videos, anyway, of the Colbert Show, the two with Anita Sarkeesian have just been panned, absolutely panned. And obviously, they're the only two videos where comments aren't allowed.
Yeah, so that's kind of suspicious.
Yes. I mean, he does throw up some very interesting questions when you have Colbert, who's willing to intellectually attack the president, but at the same time turns into a gushing fanboy as soon as Anita Sarkeesian comes up. Saying that though, apparently in the uncut interview, he did ask some very difficult questions. Although I'm wondering if they're ever going to actually release that interview. I don't think it's going to be beneficial for them to do so. So I see no reason why they should. But perhaps someone in there who's pro Gamergate might be able to get hold of it and sneak it out through not so legitimate means.
Yeah, there was a gentleman on, there was a Reddit post. I was floating around Imgur, or not floating around Imgur, but I've seen it floating around just various places. This guy was apparently at the taping, and the interview was far longer than what they aired, and and Colbert actually did ask quite a few tough questions. Like, he asked something along the lines of, does gaming cause violence? And she responded no, and he just flat out said, then how does it cause misogyny?
Wait, that's the clip that was cut.
Yeah, that was cut from the actual interview.
I have that in my YouTube history.
Really?
That was from the
It
broadcast.
exists.
If you have that, then
It's taken a while for me to dig it out, but yes, I have it in my history.
that would be. If you have that, that'd be perfect. I mean, I'd love to actually see her response to that question. But yeah.
Yeah,
I can't quite remember that. I thought that was
Yeah,
from the broadcast.
I don't think it was from the broadcast.
No, I saw the broadcast. It wasn't. The most difficult question he asked in the broadcast is can you name 3 games? And obviously, she managed to eventually string up GTA, which everyone and their grandmothers know. So.
What's hilarious about that is Colbert himself names 3 games in the intro piece.
Yeah, it's for someone whose entire job supposedly is critique of video games. Not being able to name 3 off the top of your head is quite the shame.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen before. She said it herself in a lecture. I am not a fan of video games. That's a quote that comes out of her mouth.
Oh yeah, I've seen that clip as well. It seems like she just wants to change the narrative dependent on who's asking the question in order to gain a better response, which again speaks to the whole I'm going to be a professional victim. I'm going to try and get people to get into my Patreon and give me money. I mean, even if you just look at the amount of money she raised for Feminist Frequency and put that against the amount of videos she's released, it speaks volumes.
Yeah, definitely.
But if you remember, there was some testimonies from in the industry that where if you work for certain outlets or for certain companies that are already tied in all this, in the part of the contract of the payment contract is that you have to pledge a certain amount to Anita Sarkeesian, which is also sounds a bit fishy.
Hang on a sec, that was in the contract to work for certain companies.
Yes, I think that was it. Yes, it was.
Oh, I again was unaware. Like I said, I'm not great at finding the information. I'm just.
I always I was always wondering why Anita Sarkeesian chimed in Gamergate, and when I heard that, I was
Well, that
for
explains.
me that was pretty much the answering the question. You know, that she is tied in it somehow after all.
That explains it really. It's almost like the Fine Young Capitalists being asked to pledge to Zoe Quinn's fundraising attempt in order to try and redeem themselves, and asked repeatedly by investors in order to do that before they would be willing to invest. So if that's that, shall we move on to the next topic, as it were?
Yes.
Yeah.
And the next thing I've got on this list here is the the Gamergate drama that happened recently. I'm sure you people are aware of the drama between King of Pole, Monday Matt, and Roguestar.
Yeah.
Yes. I'm just wondering what you guys feel instigated this drama. I personally, when it comes to which side you fall on, I personally don't care. But why is this drama just suddenly come up now when we're doing so well? And just your thoughts on that and feelings. Give me your feels.
I'd say through the combination of 2 points. A, King of Pole was for the longest time, at least as far as it could, based. But what you need to remember is he is King of Pole. You know.
Mm.
Well, that means that indicates a slight tendency to paranoia, and if that's reinforced, for instance, through the leak of the opposition hiring covert publicists, then that makes it all makes him probably spin out of control.
I would say the poll his profession itself too was really stressful. Like my mother for a really long time was a psychiatric nurse, which is what King of Pole is, and it is really stressful. It's a really hard job. You deal with a lot of high-strung people, and combine that with the recent fire trucking or whatever, however, like swatting, but whatever happened to him, and just the people flinging shit at him. He probably like kind of freaking out. Combine that with that he's from Pole, and then you get kind of a shitstorm.
Agreed. Honestly, I just hope the guy is just going through a stressful time, and that's why he's resorted to such means. I hope he comes back strong, and I wish him the best of recovery personally. Don't know about you guys, but that's how I feel on the matter.
Oh yeah, wish him the best. I don't resent anyone really in Gamergate.
I just resent the minorities and women, pretty much. That's it for me.
Yeah, fuck them. I can't believe they bought that it's actually about ethics and journalism.
You know, yeah,
yes,
right.
This conspiracy was so successful.
Yeah, we did it.
It's a conspiracy about a conspiracy. We must go deeper.
It's a conspiracy to paint the narrative that there is a conspiracy in the media.
Yeah, Yeah.
And actually, all of these perpetrators, all these news outlets don't exist. We just made them up.
Yeah. I actually just
We just
made the
made them up
topic the
to.
other day.
We just made them up to attack Zoe Quinn.
Oh yeah. Well, actually, I am
And
Zoe Quinn. Zoe Quinn was herself made up.
okay.
Yes, I don't think you fully understand how far this goes.
So you hired a double to be on the interviews and paint the hair and all that. Yes, but I'm taking the conspiracy theory joke that way because I'm actually more of a Tumblrite than a Channer. I've
Oh,
always been.
really?
And
I,
thing is, okay, I've been bullied out of it for a while because basically what you lot outside of Tumblr say about Tumblr is all true. All the stereotypes is all absolutely real.
oh, hang on a sec.
But
Hello,
thing is,
Andrew. Welcome to the conversation. Right
the
now,
people
talking about
in
Tumblr.
the people in Tumblr, there are people, of course, who came from Gamergate and are publishing really surprising posts. But there are also a lot of people who outright who with a straight face write that this is a reactionary movement and a conspiracy from 4chan. You know?
Call everything's a reactionary movement. Literally
Yeah.
everything is reactionary.
I don't. I can't think of any movement that has been non-reactionary. You know, everything's going okay. Well, I'm going to start a movement to what?
Just to fuck shit up. I just really want to
Yeah.
fuck shit up.
I mean, I guess
No,
the only
what I
thing.
mean is
Go on.
reactionary in terms of conservative, but hardline conservative.
But they're the
Oh,
ones.
reaction to...
Yeah.
No, go ahead.
They're the ones who seem to want to keep the conservative line, though. We're the ones with the radical ideas, which always baffles me that they call us conservatives when really we're more liberal than them. And go on, Grayson.
Yeah, I mean, I'd say they like to call themselves liberals, but I mean, I wouldn't. They, they all seem very kind of conservative in their lines of reasoning. Like, I don't know. As a liberal, I mean,
They seem to want to hang on to the old identity of what it means to be a liberal, and at the same time want to hang on to the old problems there was, just so they can fight against them. It's apparent in like the the examples of the wage gap that's been disproven some time and time again. Yet they still cling on to it because they want to feel like they're fighting against the wage gap. They want there to be a problem. So.
It's basically the media maintaining an artificial status quo in which they themselves are painted as the party that breaks the status quo.
Yes, exactly. They
And
want to
now
be seen as the new breakout group.
one aspect of Not Your Shield is this status quo being broken. That's probably one of the reasons why they're so particularly vile to those faults.
Yes, the whole idea that white cisgendered males created sock puppet accounts and then created Not Your Shield, that always made me laugh whenever I think about it.
somehow we're the conspiracy theorists.
Yes, except there is an actual conspiracy. Like, it's not a conspiracy theory. We aren't working off a theory here. We have proof, and by
I know.
definition, there is a conspiracy. It's mind-boggling.
I hear that a lot. Like, I mean, I'm on Tumblr too, and a lot of people just say it's all a conspiracy theory. It's all tinfoil hats. I'm like, you do know it's been proven.
Well, people say the same about evolution, and that's been proven time and time again. And they still say that that's a conspiracy theory. So.
And organized crime is also a conspiracy.
Yes. These people, if they're wearing a black shirt, will say that the color black is a conspiracy theory, even when they're wearing a black shirt. It goes that level into idiocy, I feel, at times.
But yes, and wait a minute. Okay. The thing is, the other approach that the other side has is then asked is then when it's for instance when it's about the Game Journal Pros, when it's about or other similar things, when it's about colluding among media outlets, when they then say, oh, what's so unusual about it? What's so bad about that? But something you always need to keep in mind is news outlets and journalists always per definition go to their work with the claim to be reporting the truth.
Hmm.
But if you're telling the truth, why do you need to get your stories straight?
Hmm. That is the question. Also, the fact that yes, it happens in other media. It happens in the the movie journalism. It happens in general journalism. It does not mean it's right. And like I've said previously, I think Gamergate is the tip of the iceberg. I feel that, especially with the involvement of the HuffPost, I feel that after Gamergate is finished, we will be moving on to general journalism, and other publications will have to justify themselves against their own consumers, and I think that's a positive thing. I think that's a good thing. I think that's something that should be encouraged. I mean, consumers at the end of
I
the day are
actually
people
hope
consuming media.
I actually hope that in the long run, to a certain extent, Gamergate keeps existing uh, forever, basically, and that
Mm.
instead we would after some more successes, branch out and help people from other communities and other industries to get their own counterparts running.
Yeah, I'd say if anything, we're raising like a group of people who are really like who'll take things with a grain of salt where they previously didn't. Like my mom called me up a couple of weeks ago and she said, "Oh, she said basically, so I saw on the news that you're a misogynist." And so she asked like what this whole Gamergate thing is about because she knew I was kind of into it, and so I explained it to her, and she's like, "Wow, that sounds like a bunch of bullshit." And so, I mean, now she takes everything with a grain of salt, so.
Mm. Well, I feel that's something that should just generally be encouraged in the media in general, is take everything with a grain of salt, because you don't know who wrote this and what their biases are. So, you know, as much as journalism is meant to do the facts checking for you, doing a little bit yourself is never a bad thing.
Well, yeah, certainly.
Yes, but it really needed this. It really all needed this wake up call to because otherwise people wouldn't be willing to realize that there is this really this almost halfway industry wide closing ranks policy
Mm.
and blatantly lying but getting your story straight.
Yes, I think it's quite funny how journalists have completely collapsed inwardly on themselves and sort of said, we are going to stay in our little corner and we're going to call you all misogynists, and if you disagree with us, then you're proving us right. It seems almost childlike playground sort of stuff that we've all gone through, during primary school. You call
Mm.
one of the jocks an
More of
asshole,
a,
and all of a sudden, all the jocks are after you.
Yeah.
it's more of a yes, it's more of a teenage power game, really. It's more of a we are this and this and this, and if you have the slightest doubt, then you're out of the peer group, and we're going to gang up on you.
Well, it's the age-old war between nerds and hipsters. I mean, and at the end of the day, nerds created the internet, and we know how this works better than them. And we are going to win. I mean, it
Oh,
might
no
take a
doubt.
long time, but we are going to win. There's just too many of us, and it's based on such a strong idea that, like Victor said earlier, we are all leaders of Gamergate, each and every one of us. So, as long as someone, at least single person, is out there sending emails, the movement won't die. And what are they going to do? Dox each individual one of us? Good
Oh
luck. I
no,
move house a lot.
I I'm actually I don't see the problem with getting doxxed, really. It's if someone thinks that would silence me in some way, then go ahead, try. But
Well, honestly, if I
I've deliberately led out trails so that someone who would want to could.
Same here. Honestly, if I ever reach the status quo of someone like, Sargon of Akkad or whatever, I would probably just publish my own address and real name and just be like, look, if you have a problem with me, just come to my house. Let's actually have a conversation about it. If you want to call the fire or the police on me, you can go ahead. I mean, at the end of the day, you're just going to be wasting your own time and getting yourself a criminal record. It doesn't bother me.
And oh, I remember a topic. I forgot about that. Oliver
Yeah.
Campbell. Oliver
Yes.
Campbell. The self threats and the harassment. I mean the cyberbullying.
I can't say I really know about that. Can someone like maybe fill me in a little?
Yeah, Victor, why don't you, seeing as you're the one who brought the topic up, why don't you explain to those of us who maybe aren't so aware?
Okay, Oliver Campbell announced that he got contacted by a snitch in the FBI, and or the FBI, I don't know, something government, and what he really got was after some verifications through IDs, was that at least two of the major figures in the Gamergate narrative actually sent threats to themselves. You know?
Well,
And I heavily suspect one of them is Anita Sarkeesian.
Oh God, please let
No
that be
doubt.
true. Let that be
Wait,
true.
wait. Let me put the tinfoil hat on. I want to
Alright,
explain
go.
why.
People, grab your
Okay.
culinary hats.
So, as we see in Thunderfoot's video and the links he provided there, that the FBI did actually publicly announce that Anita Sarkeesian, because the threat of the Utah State University, was never in danger.
Yes, we have the phone call
And
for
then,
that.
Yeah.
then an insider from the FBI tells Oliver Campbell that two major anti-Gamergate figures threatened themselves, and then think, why would the FBI come to the conclusion that someone was definitely in danger due to a threat? What
Hmm.
100% guarantee that there was no threat?
Oh God, that's beautiful. Yeah, it is tinfoil hat stuff. But if that is true, then their credibility. I mean, to say it'll go down the toilet is an understatement. Oh God. Uh,
Sort of think news outlets sort of have an obligation to report that if that turns out to be true.
well, they're not going to. I mean, we know that we can't trust the mainstream media, but what we can do is yell it out loud enough that perhaps some of the minor news sites publish this and hopefully then get some traction, which they probably will with a controversial story like that, especially with someone like the FBI, if that is indeed who tipped them off behind them. I mean, they're going to get all the publicity that they could possibly want with that sort of story.
Oh yeah, and I mean we saw MSNBC extensively cover it, so we could see Fox News covering it just for the sole purpose of taking a shit on MSNBC.
Well, Fox News might cover it because they do like their controversial stories, and they might pick it up.
I'm going to repeat what I said before. If Fox News gets a chance to not sound like Alex Jones and at the same time stick it to the left, they're going to harp on it instantly.
Yeah.
That's painfully true. So
And by the way, Andrew.
yeah, Andrew doesn't seem to be talking. I did mute his mic because there was a bit of interference. But
No, I'm here. I'm just listening carefully to you guys and analyzing what you guys are saying a little bit. It's interesting.
there we
You
are.
guys are talking about this left-right dynamic that goes on in our media. It's not totally left-right. I mean, there's authoritarian stances. There's very, very libertarian stances. And generally speaking, when people talk about anarchy, they believe it means chaos, when really it simply means without leaders. But this is the concept, this is the cultural meme that we have implanted in us as children, is that leaders are bosses, right? But real leaders, the people who are on the cutting room floor, who people are doing stuff, are not the ones who are. They're not the ones who are got the BMW and driving around like a crazy person and partying and partying. And this is not how it works at all. But those people who are in those positions of power have been doing those things. Look at all the different expenditures. Look at all the different flights where people are flying around the country, wasting all this fuel.
Back on track.
And our tax dollars go to that. That's the big problem.
Real quick request: could we keep this on Gamergate specifically? I mean, we are talking about the just to fill you in. Like, we're talking about the apparent snitch that two prominent anti-Gamergate figures are sending themselves death threats in order to publicize themselves. I mean, actually, Andrew, real quick question for all three of you, really. I'm pretty sure each of us sort of accept that if the FBI come out and said this, if this is true, Anita Sarkeesian is probably 90% confirmed to be one of the people sending herself a death threat in order to publicize herself. Who do you think is the other one?
What do you mean exactly?
Well, we got a tip off that there was two prominent anti-Gamergate figures sending themselves death threats. Am I right?
Well,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, I'm just throwing ideas
I'd
around.
say the other one would be number 3. Not number 1, number 3.
Sorry?
Because number 1 already shitposts on 4chan, has always been shitposting on 4chan, trying to incite violence against herself. That's nothing new. But a deliberate, direct death threat sending to themselves, that sounds more like literally Wu.
Yeah, it's possible that Wu wanted some attention.
Well, I mean, she did bring herself into the movement, I'm pretty sure, in my opinion, with that ideology in mind, that she wanted some of that attention that Zoe Quinn and Anita Sarkeesian were receiving, even if it was negative attention through death threats and harassment.
But when you're a public figure of any sort of stance, you're always going to have people who are for and against you. That's just a normal sort of way of life. Yeah.
Well, yes, but some people try to make money off the simple fact that you're trying to play the professional victim card. You're trying to squeeze money out of people feeling sad for you, and I feel like Brianna Wu wanted a slice of that pie, as it were.
Well, she made her choices.
And what I do remember is when Brianna Wu posted, tweeted pictures of 8chan threads where someone was either threatening her or inciting violence against herself. To look that up in my folder again. The joke was that someone picked those pictures up and identified the IDs, from the IDs of the poster. In these incitement threads, it was always an OP, and then several responses that was supposed to sound like someone else saying, "Yes, we need to attack her," or something like that. And the IDs made it sure it was the same person every time.
Yeah, well, that's
making a post and then replying to themselves.
Yeah, that's someone who doesn't really understand how that kind of thing works.
Yes. Well, we are the nerds, and we know how the internet works, and we can use this to our advantage, which is a wonderful, wonderful thing. As we can see, really, from all of this. Yeah, when it comes to... So you think it would be Anita Sarkeesian and Brianna Wu would be the two?
Well, either, Anita Sarkeesian is a sock puppet. She has a writer, dude.
Macintosh.
I think Macintosh tried to kind of play the whole thing so that he could, just further his mediocrity. And that doesn't really play well when you're talking about technology and development and intelligence. The two don't mesh together at all.
Well, that's why we have.
I'm not saying that we should go full Sparta either. It's each their own. Right? You can't tell people what to do, and we don't want to tear down or abolish anything that already exists. We have a great infrastructure here. we're just not being given. Well, it's not about being given. It's about
Being
it's not,
represented.
yeah, exactly.
Mm. Well, I would always say that they have the right to their opinion and they have the right to speak their mind, but we also have the right to call them out on it.
And also criticize them. But this is the thing:
Yes.
is that some people don't understand the difference between constructive criticism and personal attacks. They take a personal attack as, oh, that they take a criticism as a personal attack, and they don't understand that some people are just trying to help them, essentially.
Trying to help them or trying to help other people who's watching the video sort of see a fact, accept it, and then maybe scroll down, see a comment from someone else giving constructive criticism and sort of realizing, oh, maybe I shouldn't take this all at face value, maybe I should do some of my own research.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, that makes me sometimes think that maybe either Anita Sarkeesian or Jonathan McIntosh, but I think of those two rather Anita Sarkeesian knows that the logic in those videos is flawed, and there are a lot of things that are just stated with nothing really to back it up. So because this kind of censorship, this kind of shutting down voices that have something to say, you don't do that if you have nothing to hide.
Mm.
Yeah, well,
Yeah, go on, Andrew.
well, I was just gonna say that. I watch a variety of people, from Sargon to Akkad to, Thunderfoot, to all these different people, and I don't agree with everyone all the time. There's some things that people are saying that's, oh, it's this or it's that. I mean, in science, I mean, that's been a big thing in academia. Is there's been so many different theories and this and that, and no one's ever been able to mesh their theories together. So we really, even in science, even in the high level of science, we don't have a lot of common ground to stand on. Though, as human beings, we have a lot of common ground to stand on, but we don't acknowledge it.
Yes, but in science, you don't need to shut. You also need to shut down research unless that research might reveal something you don't want to know. Because otherwise, the verification process, everything would be a lot more strict and a lot more exclusive. If
Stringent, you mean?
Probably.
Now, we don't want to live in a police state, that's for sure, but we're already kind of, you walk down the street, how many cameras are you going to see? And if they're all connected to a specific security infrastructure and they're using facial recognition technology, I mean, look, I don't live in the UK, I live in Montreal, but I know I've seen some really funny videos on YouTube where people are freaking out because someone's dressed up in an alien costume and gets caught on a CCTV camera.
And what I mean is basically positivism. If a claim you make has been researched, you can prove it properly. If there is truth to that claim, if you verified it, that claim relates to reality. That means it will hold up on its own. Meaning someone else can't. If you're convinced and if you're sure that it's the truth, and someone else can't disprove it, that's impossible.
Well, it goes back to the whole idea of scientific theories. Their only use is to describe reality. If they don't describe reality, then they're useless. Then they are immediately debunked.
Well, we do have two experiences. You guys have to remember that. We live in a numerical world, but we also live in an emotional world. You know what I mean?
Mm.
We're not totally separated. Our brains aren't totally separated. We do have a left and right hand brain, and they do interface, and we are able to emote, and we are able to do logic, and we are able to come to conclusions that, love is logical, and this and that. As long as we stick to our values, it's not too much of a problem.
Mm.
That's how I see it.
Well, back to the Gamergate discussion itself. When you come to this tip that the FBI have come out, do you actually know if they're willing to make that public? And if so, do you know where and when?
It all comes down to. Oh, sorry.
No, that's the point. That's the point of it being an insider. It wasn't supposed to be public.
I was just curious as to if someone had the information and was saying, like, I'm going to release it here and then, you should hang around for that. Do do we have any sort of idea of if any of this is going to become public eventually, or I mean, surely an FBI investigation on this scale should eventually the results should be brought forward.
Well, if the FBI went ahead and just admit that, that would be a bit of a disgrace, wouldn't it?
How would they be
Would that
disgraced?
damage their reputation.
For reporting on or failing to report? I mean, if they're doing an investigation, they don't have to disclose anything publicly until their investigation is done.
I was
Yeah.
just wondering when their investigation is considered complete. I guess we don't know that right now.
And the other Oliver Campbell thing was the cyberbullying. Did you hear that?
No, can you
No.
elaborate?
Apparently, some of the cyberbullies, the doxers and the threateners, have been tracked back. And because cyberbullying has been outlawed, heads are going to roll. Well, not literally, but
Figuratively.
people are going to get put to prison.
It'd be very interesting to see exactly who gets grabbed with this, to see if it's anyone we recognise.
And the thing is, people are gonna those people who fully believe the anti-Gamergate narrative are of course thinking, yes, now we can stick it to those Gamergaters. Now it will all stop. And then what's going to happen in the end is the money from Brianna Wu's cyberbullying fund is going to be spent to catch anti-Gamergaters.
Oh, the sweet, sweet irony.
A lot of irony, yeah.
Or trolls from the gay niggers. And to anyone who hears this, that is not meant as a slur. That's literally the name of that troll group.
Yes, it's a troll group, and as with all troll groups, they are there to offend people. So obviously, even their name is offensive. Go on, Grayson. You were about to say something.
Oh, I was just going to clarify the GNAA. Yes.
Yeah.
That's okay. Yeah.
Yeah. There've been multiple troll groups that have been targeting Gamergate recently. GNAA, I know, is one of them, and I know there's another one whose name is escaping me right now.
Bill Wagoner?
Yeah, that's the one.
Yes. Yes.
Bill Wagoner?
Sorry,
What's the story behind him?
Well, he's been doxing a lot of people.
Oh, that's fun.
He's been handing out one address after the other.
Not good, basically. Doxing, don't do it, kids.
The thing is, I'm really suspicious of GNAR. I know that a lot of them believe that they're deliberately just trolling for the lols, but somehow I've got the feeling what they're doing seems to be pretty one-sided. They're really just harassing people on both sides, which pretty much sabotages Gamergate.
Well, from my interaction,
they don't care which way it goes. They're trying to play both sides, I think.
From my interaction with the group, honestly, they just seem like they want to have some fun with it. I mean, most of them are watching these big companies like Gorka slowly fall, and they're just loving it. They're just having some fun while this is happening. It would seem either harassing us or harassing the anti-Gamergate side.
But why would they? Why would they? They know that getting their fingers in that and not something else is slowing down the process of eroding corrupt corporate structures.
Well, it's not.
They know that
they don't have a political ideology. They just see Gorka falling down as that's funny. Let's watch it. I mean, they also just want to have fun. At the end of the day, they just want to troll people and dox people.
I just got the feeling that they're being incited deliberately to chime into this rather than something else.
We'll be incited into this because it's all over the flipping place. Like you said, it's in newspapers, it's in the media. You can't spend 3 minutes on the internet without it jumping out at you.
Well, maybe where you are.
Well,
around here, I can ask anyone I know. They have no idea what Gamergate is.
Maybe it's just the BBC's done that then, but I can tell you over here, it's pretty much everywhere. So yeah, that's the trolling group. So, is there anything else any of you want to add?
Oh yeah, just if you're gonna be on Twitter, you guys, like I don't have to tell you guys. You guys obviously already know. Just keep your head down and don't be posting any, bullshit, and you're not gonna have any worries.
Well, from the reporting system that's been put in.
Yeah. Well, and as soon as this whole shit went down, Twitter's like, oh fuck, we have to change our reporting system for sure.
Well, there's been word of people trying to use it against the anti-Gamergate side as well. Do we have any reports of that actually working, or?
Oh yeah. We do have reports of people who were on the anti-Gamergate side getting doxing, doing stuff. They might have just been trolls. They might not have been on the anti-Gamergate side. They might have been posing as anti-Gamergaters or Gamergaters. We don't really know their personal motivations, but we can judge their actions and say, yeah, that person's doing something dangerous. That person's doing something messed up.
So we are actually, well, Twitter actually is managing to shut that down quite nicely. Then, see what you're saying.
Yeah, they're doing all right. I've seen the Gamergate harassment patrol. Basically, I was watching this feed, and within 30 seconds, something went up. Someone else had already reported it, and then one of the chat rooms I was in just went nuts, and everyone was just screaming names like "report, report, report." It's a coordinated effort of a lot of people who are doing the right thing. It's really hard to stop that kind of thing from taking place, and especially when these people have the right motivations and they all believe in what they're doing, which is anti-bullying on the internet. And I can stand by that one and say, yeah, that's pretty legit.
Well, that's the problem with a
no
movement
one's
that has no entry requirements.
Yeah.
And I remember a topic, the most important one probably.
Go on.
Gorka, the new big focus.
Well, we managed to get Dyson.
In this week, 2 companies pulled their ads.
Yes.
And,
go on, Victor. Sorry.
And I just wanted to underline that we should with more focus on getting those advertisers gone.
Yes.
First of all.
Everyone listening, give yourself a pat on the back. You managed to get 2 more advertisers out of Gorka. Let's see if we can keep that going.
And with each one, it works. I'm hoping it's going to work like a landslide, more or less.
As soon as other companies see what's happening, they're gonna. Because at the end of the day, it's all a publicity act. They all want to put on the best show in order to get you to buy their product. So as soon as they see other companies leaving, they will eventually leave themselves.
Speaking of that, that's why I wanted to bring it up. Maybe we should soon start. Since we are this huge mass of people who are quickly to spread all sorts of things. Maybe we should use that to start viral marketing campaigns for those advertisers that pull their ads.
Oh, so help some people that leave.
Yeah, we need to start setting up new ads.
As an image macro of this company values its customers, and then the logo and the background color of the company.
That's actually a really, really, really good idea. I like that idea. It would be an incentive business-wise and financially for people to follow Gaming Movement. I like that.
And you've got mine. You've got my name. I think next week I'm going to start doing that. And when I do, I'll do it on the Tumblr, or at the beginning. Maybe also on the Twitter, but first of all on the Tumblr.
Yeah, start on Tumblr. We seem to have more of a foothold there. Twitter, like you said earlier, it seems to be a battlefield of 2 fronts. There doesn't seem to be any neutral people there, so advertisement on there might not be the best of ideas. But definitely start with Tumblr, and then if you link to the people on Facebook to those images, I'm sure they'll be happy to spread that around.
Yeah, I mean, despite Tumblr's pretty radical reputation, there's actually quite a lot of moderates, and I've gotten quite a few messages of people saying, hey, holy shit, people are, like, posting your face and calling you, like, greasy man baby and shit like that, and that's not cool. What the fuck is Gamergate? And so I end up swaying a lot of people who had, like, no fucking idea, and it's good stuff.
Majority of what I see are people who have posted stuff from from news websites saying, "Oh, look at these horrible misogynists, isn't it awful?" And then I sort of calmly sit them down and go, "Well, let's actually have a conversation because I'm part of this movement, and let's see if I can convince you otherwise." And normally by the end of it, I'd probably not convince them to join Gamergate, but definitely to sort of at least take it with a pinch of salt. I'm pretty happy about that personally.
Yeah.
It's kind of funny for me because I have a lot of chick friends who are gamers, and I love playing games with them. I love going over there and having a drink with them, and conversing with them, and playing Call of Duty, Black Ops, or whatever, console, handheld. I myself really like PC stuff, but I'm not gonna. Yeah, I'm a PC master race all the way, but I'm not gonna alienate my friends, just because they want to play something different, and then I'm not gonna push them and impose on them, be like, you have to play this game with me. It doesn't make any sense.
Well, it's also the fact that you don't impose on them saying, no, you can't play, you have boobs.
Yeah.
That's...
Oh, I know a girl who's actually way better than me at Call of Duty World. What's it called? Call of Duty Black Ops. Like, it's not even funny. She's just so much better with the controller than I am, and I mean, I feel like I'm at a deficit when I'm over playing at her place playing video games because I'm used to a keyboard and mouse. But that's to each their own.
Well, when it comes to the idea that gamers don't want women in their games, I always found that to be quite stupid because they keep painting us as these like virgin neckbeards. Well, if we are truly virgins, then surely the first thing we want is sex, because sex is good. So if we can find a woman while doing the thing we're really good at, poning noobs 360 no scopes, then surely that's what we want. We want more women in games so that we can converse with them.
Yeah. And the other thing is,
I've got to take the other side there. I know that there are these kinds of teenagers that apply tribe mentality to everything over a short period of time.
Yes, but I don't think that
also extend to gender.
Who they are claimed to be.
Nah, that's just stories.
Well, yes. I think the only people who get pissed off when there's a girl in the game is when there's a girl in the game and she makes a big deal about her being a girl. I think that can get kind of irritating, but other than that, we honestly don't care.
Yeah,
I mean, I know for a fact. Go on.
I knew what you mean is the girl gamer. The one that isn't really a gamer, but just plays video games, but has this cutesy soft voice and plays up the feminine act. And the ironic thing is, I knew one of those I used to know one of those in World of Warcraft, and she does exactly that. She also plays, and she has this whole cutesy wootsy act all the time, which she's better than a lot of most people. She's better than me. She was kind of breaking the stereotype.
I can tell you now from I don't know if you guys have tried it out, but I used to be big into EVE Online, and I can tell you, in that game, with that size of a community, when you're talking to people over comms, you don't care if they're male or female. All you care about is, do they have big guns, and are they pointing at the person that I'm pointing them at? That's the height of how much you care about who you're talking about.
Yeah, essentially.
I think that's pretty much the same in most video games. But go on, Victor. You were about to say something.
I think the reason why some of the so-called social justice warriors get the impression that gamers would be exclusive and hostile and everything is because they go into this kind of community expecting to get extra special treatment because of how high they rank in the oppression Olympics, and then they're thrown into a world where nobody cares where they come from.
Well, also they go into a world that is highly competitive. I mean, in gaming, you're judged based on your skill, and that's pretty much it. You have to work to be respected. You have to actually put the effort in, and these people want the respect, but they don't want to put the work in. They don't want to put the effort in. They just want to get it.
Yeah, I've heard people like Stargon saying that video games, the gaming community, is the perfect example of a meritocracy, and cultural Marxists aren't really a big fan of that. They just kind of want to get to the top because like they're a woman or some shit.
Yeah, they want to get to the top because boobs, pretty much.
Yeah.
Which is sad, really, because
That's not a very good motivation. I mean, for me personally, when I'm evaluating whether I want to have a relationship with a girl, like if she's not a gamer, it's like I'm not talking about a gamer girl. I mean a real gamer. It's kind of be like, well, I'm gonna sit down and play a game tonight, and I'd like to share that time with you, you know.
yeah,
And I myself was placed in front of a computer at a very young age, and I detest television completely. I think television is a complete waste of time. I think it's not something that you can control. It's not a media that you can be truly responsible in because you're in a beta state. Your mind is just being programmed, you know, and you're wasting time with commercials. I mean, I don't mind that they have advertisements, and advertisements should be there. Like you guys were saying, we need to create ad revenue streams for the companies that are sticking by their customers and are going to be doing the right thing. But there will always be always be companies that don't give two shits about their customers and will sell them junk. That's just how it works.
I do think that
Well, then
is.
someone is going to find something out eventually, and then people are going to ask questions.
Yeah, and that's what they should be doing.
The problem is a lot of the stuff when it comes to advertisement in general media, like on TV and whatnot, a lot of the actual problems, the actual conspiracies that happen within that advertisement, they get lumped in with actual crazy conspiracy theories and are affiliated with some very illogical ideas. So unfortunately, the good ends up with the bad, and at the end of the day, all you see is bad, which is a shame, really. If those honest ideals and honest ideas could come out a little bit more, that would be definitely a positive move forward, for at least for mainstream media advertisement.
I always think it's pretty easy to distinguish what conspiracy theories seem like there could be something to it and which ones don't. Because, for instance, I do get why people ask questions about the whole 9/11 thing. But on the other hand, if you have conspiracies where Mars has been colonized already, but the government tries to keep that a secret to keep the market stable, and it's like, what? What? What?
There's a conspiracy theory that the Earth is actually flat, and all the photos we have from space are all just photoshopped. I mean, I've heard that theory a couple of times, and that always made me laugh.
Mm-hmm.
But how do you explain time zones and how the time zones work then?
Well, that's what I keep wondering.
It's like in that cartoon film. That if you go around the world, then you manage to skip a day.
It's like the
And that doesn't
whole.
work on a flat world.
You said this. Was it the Superman film where he goes really fast around the Earth, opposite to the way that it's going, in order to turn back time or something? It's that level of idiocy and lack of understanding of how time works. So yes, basically what we're getting to is advertising is good, advertising in conspiracy theories bad. I think we can all agree on that point.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, I guess. Well, does anyone else have anything they want to bring up during this? Because
No, that was way.
we're kind of running out of topics here.
Yes, but I thought there was something. I just forgot what it was.
Are we second to Gamergate?
Well, this is Gamergate Conversation.
Yeah.
Gamergate.
I mean,
Kelly Mackenzie.
It's been going on.
Yes.
Oh, Mackenzie Kelly.
Oh yeah, whichever way around that goes. Exactly who is she? Because I saw everyone making a big deal about her, and I couldn't find much about her other than she's apparently a firefighter or something.
She is she just lost the election, but she was running for the Austin, Texas City Council, and apparently her platform was entirely based around pro-Gamergate.
Oh, well, that's very interesting.
What?
I didn't realize.
Basically, she's I guess in short, she's a politician who tries to capitalize on Gamergate. Honestly,
Andrew, you were going to say something real quick there?
Who, me? No.
Oh, okay. Sorry, misheard.
I'm just thinking. Because that's kind of that's very, very weird. I mean, especially considering we're not like the most popular movement on the block. Affiliating with. I mean, no one is Gamergate. Gamergate is just what it is, a consumer movement about principles, ethics, morality, or whatever. So I don't really see where she thinks that it's a good idea to ride that wave. But people are always going to jump on a wave and try and ride with it. Some people have been in the wave for a lot longer, and some people are just trying to vamp the energy out of it too.
Well,
She recently lost voters, then she's probably going to look for new sources. And if she sees, there is this consumer revolt that everyone is smearing everywhere. If those are Americans, then I can get those votes.
well, the problem is a lot of us aren't Americans. We come from all over the world, so a lot of her potential voters aren't actually there in the movement. But I like the fact that politicians are actually talking about it. I mean, that's definitely a step forward.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like a big politician. It's not even state level. It's city council level, and really, most people, even in the city, don't care much.
Well, we got to start from somewhere. I mean, Rome was
No
started
doubt.
with a single brick.
Yeah.
Well, I saw one interesting thing. People were talking about putting up an Indiegogo campaign to teach people how to code. And I went and I inquired, and I looked through what they were showing the material, and I was like, "This is complete bullshit. You want to teach people Java? This is not how you teach people to code. Teach them C. Teach them BASIC. Teach them something, or Unix. Teach them anything that will help them in the job market, or develop their own game, or do their own projects. Don't stifle their growth for what reason? It makes no sense in my mind. Well, like we said, we keep going back to it. Mediocrity seems to be the key component to all of this.
Grayson, do you know how much she lost the vote by, real quick? Was it a landslide, or was it reasonably close? Do you know?
It was reasonably close. There were multiple candidates, and she maintained a decent base, but I think she just kind of narrowly lost. I'm not a Texan. I'm far more north.
Okay. No, I was curious if you knew about that. About the actual voting statistics. If you're saying that she had a decent base, then that's definitely a step forward and a positive. The fact that someone who is affiliating themselves with a horrible misogynistic bunch of idiots such as Gamergate is actually getting a bit of a foothold, at least. Maybe not getting in, but definitely getting some support.
Yeah, definitely.
And I think that's definitely a step forward. Yeah.
Yeah, she has also said in the past, and this is something I'm kind of a little suspicious about. She said
Sure.
she wanted to be a PR person for Gamergate, and I'm
Yeah,
not
so-
sure if that sounds like something we really need. And it seems like it just might be something to get her into more of the spotlight.
Well, it would depend on her PR work specifically. I mean, if you're saying she lost the election, it would make me question her PR, even if it was by very little. It would look better if, for example, she was already in office when she offered this to us. I mean, I'm okay with having public representatives as long as they are good public representatives who actually represent us. I mean, I guess with the nature of the movement in its current state right now, if someone was to represent us negatively, we would at least call them out on that, so at least we've got that on our side.
I mean,
Well-
what do we really care if they call it names? I mean, it really doesn't matter. The people who are sticking to the GG and all this stuff, and we're the people that matter. And honestly, we're the people who consume the higher end games, and we're also the people who make the higher end games.
Well, the problem with that sort of attitude, that why does PR matter, is the fact that we're going after advertisers right now. I mean, if we have a completely shoddy, terrible public representation, which we have to a certain extent now, but it could be a lot worse. If that continues and we continue going after advertisers, eventually advertisers are just not going to listen, because at the end of the day, they don't care about truth and they don't care about exactly what's happening in the world. All they care about is money.
Yeah, sorry to interrupt you, but they do if people are aware of the issues. You know, they do care if people are making those informed choices about you know getting a good product. I mean, right now people are going out and buying games that are just rehashes from the last game with very little changes, and these people are breaking in millions of dollars. And the people in these studios are A, not qualified, B, don't really understand gaming itself, or they haven't been gamers for that long. I mean, I don't know what to say, but I mean, Battlefield 4, some of these other games have just been complete like it's just going off the deep end, in my opinion. You know.
Well, that's the perfect example, actually, when it comes to Battlefield and whatnot. That's a game that definitely has not added much to the franchise, but at the same time, due to their PR and due to their message and due to their image in the public eye, they are highly successful, even when put up against indie games that perhaps have better ideas, but just aren't as visible in the public eye or have negative negative views within the public eye. I dare say Fez has gone downhill in sales after Phil Fish came out and called everyone an asshole. So if Gamergate, even if Gamergate is saying that, you know, and doing really, really good things, if the PR isn't there, we're just not going to get.
Yeah, but we're not going to have
The question is can we do our own PR, or do we have to bring in outside help? Personally, I'm of the opinion that we can do it ourselves, but it's something that we should keep in our heads when we're posting online, and it's something we should keep in our minds when we're talking to anti-Gamergate and neutrals, is we are actually representing the whole movement when we do that, because the people we're talking to aren't necessarily going to go and talk to other people in the movement and try and get a full-rounded opinion. Most people are just going to listen to one and then leave it there.
The thing is with Mackenzie Kelly, that was she said that by now, and now that she did, there's probably going to be eyes on us, and one PR aspect of Gamergate's PR is definitely how do we treat Mackenzie Kelly. So I think even if she does seem like not exactly optimal PR, how the important PR factor is not who she is. The important factor is how is she treated. Because another aspect is, of course, instinctive behavior. You also need to keep in mind Mackenzie Kelly is a woman, meaning
women representatives might be definitely a positive.
Meaning if a woman is being how a woman is being treated by Gamergate affects the PR all the more.
Given our current reputation, I definitely would agree with that.
I kind of don't think our reputation really matters anymore at this. I'm not trying to say that Gamergate is dead. I'm not trying to say to abandon the tag. I'm not trying to say to start a new tag. I'm just saying the people who are in, the people who aren't. And at this point, it's basically like, hey, you know, if you want to change things, you want things to be better, you can only look in the mirror and say, what can I do as a consumer? And that's the only portion you play in the whole situation is what you're consuming, what your role is in it, and who you associate with, you know. So the thing is, we can't get a leader in Gamergate. It's a leaderless movement. It's a decentralized movement. It's going to take a whole nother set of political movements that I think will develop because people are talking more about these concepts. I think that's more of the direction it'll take. I don't think Gamergate's going to go and get elected somewhere. That just doesn't make any sense at all.
The Gamergate party.
Well, no, we're not going to have a political party, but I would have to disagree that PR doesn't matter at this stage. There are a lot of neutral people out there who are unsure which side they lie on.
I didn't say it didn't matter. Didn't say it didn't matter. I'm just saying that if you want to have a change, you have to address other stuff. You know, like if you want to affect the change you want, you can't just keep going with through the Gamergate route.
Which is why I would say, you know, keeping a polite attitude when talking to the other side helps with your PR. Because at the end of the day, you're not trying to convince the person you're talking to, you're trying to convince everyone else who's watching you.
Mm-hmm.
You're never going to convince someone who's anti-Gamergate to join pro-Gamergate, but you may convince John Doe as he's scrolling through Twitter and sees the conversation.
I'm not sure because of course someone who's the kind of person who says yes, I'm totally absolutely anti-Gamergate, then they probably have something causing that. They probably either have not really friends who are anti-Gamergate and who they're going to lose if they start asking questions, or they have some sort of tie
Well, that's what I
to
was saying, that no, you're not going to
yeah.
convince anyone who's anti-Gamergate, but you may convince someone who's neutral on the issue.
But what I mean is the kind of John Doe who goes on some news outlet and reads one article about Gamergate, he's going to be anti-Gamergate then, if he just believes it, and he is yet an anti-Gamergate who can be swayed through positive PR.
Well, that's what I
Because
was saying.
he's only anti because he doesn't know better.
Yeah, and I would call them, maybe it's just a misuse of terms, but I would consider them neutrals, people who just say they're anti-Gamergate but don't really know much about the movement. I consider them neutrals, because all it takes is, a smile, some facts, and a polite attitude, and they could very easily be convinced to give Gamergate a second look in. Does anyone disagree with me? No? Yes? Maybe?
Oh no, I totally agree.
Yeah, I agree too.
Yeah? Okay.
But the problem is, I'm going to keep coming back to the same problem for me. It's we can't form a leadered movement in this situation, and it's not at a global scale. And yeah, I think it's more than just a consumer rights issue. I mean, they have the right to say what they want to say and criticize games and have their own take and have their own spiel. But what it comes to is when you provide people information and you don't recompense them. I mean, when you provide people money or people pay you to produce videos, I'm specifically talking about AS right now, Nia Sarkeesian, but there's other people who are jumping on the same bandwagon that she is doing, and it's not just her, and they're not just criticizing games. They're criticizing a lot of what you guys were calling earlier hardline conservatism, right? But I think conservatism it's kind of like, that's why I brought up the political spectrum before, is that it's a kind of a skewed notion, I find, in my mind. You know?
There are definitely more than just the left and the right, but they are the predominant factors when it comes to political ideals. They're the people that most regular, everyday people sort of affiliate with or affiliate against. Most people don't have a full understanding. For example, you brought up anarchy before as a concept. Most people don't fully understand what that is. So that's why we were simply bringing up the left and right, because it's what a lot of people know.
Yeah. But if we continually just go on with those narratives and we don't start building our own, then how can we have better discourse, you know?
We more or less have our own narrative. It's just we don't have this massive structure of news outlets that are gonna act as a megaphone for it.
Well, we're slowly developing that.
We-
There are a couple of pro Gamergate websites that are slowly gaining traction.
Because one thing I always would wish was more of a catchphrase is they have a narrative, but we have reality.
I think that sums it up pretty well.
They have a story that they're telling over and over, and we have this world.
We're able to point out facts where they're able to point out emotions.
And I think this whole culturally generally the whole if I get it right, back before or during the early civil rights movement, Grayson or wait, not Grayson, Andrew, you're going to correct me if I'm wrong there. Wasn't nigger sort of the word for people who hate white people?
You want me to correct you? I have no clue.
Okay.
Do you think?
Basically, everyone just threw that word at all the blacks, and the blacks in the end owned it, and that's why some address each other like that by now.
Yeah, it's cultural appropriation.
And I think
But go on.
misogynist is basically the same. It's gender ideologues rather than racial ideologues hurling a hate word on a demographic.
So can I confirm we should start greeting each other as "Hello, my fellow misogynist."
Yes.
Because that's a movement I could get behind. Anyway.
Well, it makes for a good laugh, but things get really silly really quick because then we're constantly being sarcastic, and then I get lost.
Yeah.
I think a lot of anti-Gamergate would look at that and be like, see, they're admitting they're misogynists.
And then we just laugh at them and walk away. Or we can yell at them saying they're culturally appropriating. They're being racist. They're discriminating against our culture as white men.
Oh yeah, we're not allowed to say that though. Fuck. Yeah. I don't know. I have a lot of. I mean, I look at the time every time I look at the time, and I notice I'm a weird shade of orange. I don't know about you guys, but I mean, I have friends who are darker skinned than me who have cultural things that they do, and they're like, why aren't you comfortable saying this word? I'm like, it's not out of fear. It's not out of this. It's just I just respect the issue enough to not engage in it. You know.
Well, it's the whole racial minority thing is where I am a bit difficult. It's a bit difficult to where I live. I live in Germany. All the racial minorities in Germany are all white. All the minorities are mostly Turks and Arabs and also Southeastern Europeans, and they're all white. So you can't really oppress black people. It doesn't. It's not possible. There are, of course, people with dark skin, but the numbers are really, really low. You can't really apply this kind of class thing that some of them do. And, there you are. No, the chat didn't crash. Only you did. Am I audible? Do you hear me?
Oh, there we go.
Oh, yes.
Aha, we're back.
Here's me, Andrew.
You guys had some latency?
There we go. Was it just me that left?
Yeah.
Only you.
Okay. There I was talking to myself like an idiot. My apologies. So what did I miss exactly? Anything exciting?
Nothing really. No.
I think we're moving towards the discussion about cultural appropriation though a little bit. I mean, it does extend beyond racial boundaries and language and this and that. Like look at how China influences us and we influence China in that economic relationship there.
The whole cultural appropriation thing is just completely silly because like the Tumblr riots, painting it as this major crime. You just have to keep thinking. Imagine people deliberately across the board, all the world would not do that. Never apply aspects of other people's cultures. There would be no such thing as, for instance, British culture or French culture. Every village would have their own, or every family.
Mm. Well, it's also the idea that a specific group owns a culture. It always baffles me. Like it's a physical object that can be stolen.
Yes. Well, here's a very good example. I live in Quebec, and we have a very, very stark divide in terms of language. And the French can sometimes be quite condescending towards the English people. And this is reflected in statistics that are shown that, in between young males of age XYZ to XYZ, and somewhere in my age bracket, it's something like more than half of them are unemployed, and despite them all holding associate's degrees or higher, and that's much higher than the unemployment rate, than the francophone employment rate. Now, what does that say about the educational system that is in place in this situation? That's a that's a whole can of beans right there, you know.
Well, then we go on to sort of Tumblrisms, which isn't really the
Who
topic
knows?
of.
We can make if we make more of these, we can make one about Tumblrisms too.
I'd be happy to do that. There is some weird stuff on Tumblr. At
I
least
don't-
that's what my headmates tell me.
But
I don't understand Tumblr at all.
I'm actually Tumblrkin, and one of my headmates is Doctor Who, and he says they're all pretty great.
One of my headmates is actually Anita Sarkeesian. Turns out she is a shill. Who knew? Anyway.
yeah, double agent.
Well, unless anyone has anything else to talk to say about Gamergate, I think we'll finish up here.
I have one last minor thing.
Go on.
One thing to add. One thing I added as a comment on the game Facebook thing is Gorka has one more topic to address when writing emails to them, and that is Gorka actually stood with who would have guessed stood with Lena Dunham. Know who that is?
Oh yeah.
Child
For our
molester.
viewers, can
Defended
you,
all sorts of feminist tabloids.
yes, that says it all, I feel. Okay, well, seeing as how we're trying to be professional about this, let's go through one by one. You can give your Twitter or whatever if you want to publicize yourself, and see if anyone decides to follow you. So, Andrew, if you want to go first.
No, I'm good. I'm
All
doing
right.
my own.
That's fine, fair enough. Grayson, do you want to say anything about yourself, or?
I'll plug in my Tumblr.
Yeah, go ahead.
Meatpipe-man molesto. I'll probably have to spell that out for you.
God, yeah, go on.
Okay, MEATPIPE underscore MANMOLESTO.
I don't think I have enough words to describe that, but go on, Victor.
Okay, I guess my name on most platforms is Monsieur Blanche. That would be MONSIEOUR BLANCHAT. So
Okay.
basically like Monsieur Blanchard, but taking a few letters out and adding some letters.
Well, most people know me on Facebook. I'm big in the Facebook Gamergate thing, so if you want to have a chat with me, just yell at me on there. Other than that, if you guys are up for it, we can do this pretty much every week. We make this a weekly thing. I mean, we did it last week, we did it this week. We can keep going if you guys
I'd love
are up for it.
to be as regular in this.
Yeah, that sounds good to me.
I fully encourage you guys to keep talking about these issues and keep hashing them out amongst each other, because it's only through expressing ourselves and refining that expression that we're actually going to get to a point where we can really start injecting our narrative into the public consciousness a bit better. It takes time. It's not something that happens overnight at all.
Yep.
We're either way just one of a whole load of streams, and because there's all sorts of streams. There's a whole site with all sorts of links to different streams going on from week to week. We're just one of many groups that do that. But I think in the long term, some of all those have to crystallize out that remain. But either way, it's good to keep one of them running.
Well, yes, the more groups, the better. So, anyone who's watching this, if you want to catch it from the beginning, it is going to be on YouTube. I'll link it on the Facebook group. All the Facebook groups I advertise on. The YouTube video as well, so you can view it, all of it in all of its glory there. Thank you to all of our guests, and goodbye and good night.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, thanks
No
for having me
worries.
along, guys. You guys take care.
Yeah,
Take
come
care,
on
man.
whenever you want. Bye.